You remember the end of Beauty and the Beast, right? It's one of the most romantic moments in animation history. But here's the thing. If you felt a strange sense of déjà vu watching it, you weren't imagining things. Because that dance, it wasn't original. It was stolen. Not stolen from another studio, stolen from Disney themselves. 32 years earlier, in 1959, Princess Aurora and Prince Phillip danced in Sleeping Beauty. Same moves, same timing, same choreography. Belle and the Beast didn't learn to dance. They just copied Aurora and Phillip. And here's the craziest part. Disney did this all the time, for decades. The wolf cubs in the Jungle Book move exactly like the puppies in 101 Dalmatians. Little John from Robin Hood is basically Baloo the bear, drawn in different clothes, doing the same dances. This wasn't laziness. This was survival. And the story behind it is wilder than you think. Let's go back to 1991. Disney was making Beauty and the Beast. It was supposed to be their next big hit, but they were in trouble. The budget was bleeding money. The release date was set, Thanksgiving, and it wasn't moving. And the ballroom dance sequence? The climax of the entire movie? It was incredibly complex, insanely expensive. And here's the craziest part. The animators couldn't finish it on time. They didn't have enough money. They didn't have enough people. They were running out of everything. So the directors made a decision that would save the movie and haunt Disney for decades. They told the cleanup animators, pull out the master animation sheets from Sleeping Beauty. That's right. They took the 1959 dance between Princess Aurora and Prince Philip, every single frame, and laid new paper over them. They traced the movements. They turned Aurora into Belle. They turned Philip into the Beast. They didn't reanimate the dance. They redrew it. Same steps, same timing, same twirls, just different characters. Now, Disney didn't call this cheating. They called it rotoscoping. Basically, you take old footage, you lay new paper over it, you trace the movements frame by frame. It's like copy-pasting, but with pencils and ink. Disney had been doing this for years. In Robin Hood, which came out in 1973, they recycled entire sequences from Snow White and the Jungle Book. Maid Marian clapping? That was Snow White clapping. Little John dancing? That was Baloo dancing. Here's the wild part. Robin Hood and the Jungle Book both had characters voiced by Phil Harris, who played Baloo in one and Little John in the other. So they didn't just reuse the animation, they reused the voice actor too. It's like they made the same movie twice, just with different animals. So, who was responsible for all this recycling? Meet Wolfgang Woolly Reitherman. Woolly was one of Disney's 9 old men, the original animators who worked directly with Walt Disney himself. He directed 101 Dalmatians, The Jungle Book, Robin Hood, The Aristocats, and The Sword in the Stone. He was a legend. But Woolly had a habit. He liked to play it safe. Think about that. It was harder to recycle the animation. It took longer to trace old frames than to draw new ones. But Woolly did it anyway, because he knew the old stuff worked. He didn't want to take risks. He wanted to be safe. And here's the sad part. The animators hated it. Milt Kahl, another of the 9 old men, said, I detest the use of it. It just breaks my heart to see animation from Snow White used in The Rescuers. It kills me and it just embarrasses me to tears. He was ashamed. He thought they were betraying the art. But Woolly didn't care. Now here's the irony of the whole thing. Woolly Reitherman recycled animation to save time and money. But according to the animators who actually did the work, it didn't save anything. Floyd Norman said it clearly. It's actually harder and takes longer to redraw an existing sequence. Milt Kahl agreed. Most of the time they spend more money trying to figure out how to reuse it than they would animating the scene from scratch. So why did they do it? Not for money, not for time. Because Woolly was scared. He was scared that new animation wouldn't look as good. He was scared that the audience would notice something different. He was scared to fail. So he took the easy way out, and he made his animators do the hard work of tracing old frames, which was harder than just drawing new ones. The shortcut was actually the long way around. And it wasn't just Beauty and the Beast and Robin Hood. Disney recycled animation everywhere. The Sword in the Stone used a dog-licking scene from the Jungle Book. The rescuers used animation from Snow White, and Milt Kahl cried when he saw it. The Aristocats used a guitar-playing dog that was basically the same as one in Robin Hood. And the most famous one? The dance from Sleeping Beauty. Not just used in Beauty and the Beast, but also referenced in The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. For the animators who actually worked on these movies, it was embarrassing. Imagine being an artist, a real artist, and being told to copy someone else's work. Not because it's easier, but because your boss is too scared to let you try something new. That's what happened at Disney for decades. So here's what happened. Beauty and the Beast was running out of time and money. The directors needed to finish the ballroom dance sequence. So they pulled out old animation from Sleeping Beauty. They traced every frame. They turned Aurora into Belle. They turned Philip into the Beast. And nobody noticed. Not for years. But the animators knew. They felt cheap. They felt embarrassed. Because they weren't making art. They were tracing someone else's art. Sometimes when you're scared to fail, you take a shortcut that isn't really a shortcut. And you spend more time copying old work than you would have spent making something new.